Hello everyone, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Ultimate General Civil War. We are fighting the Battle of Antietam. In our last episode, we crushed the Confederate flank on the left, taking the Dunkard Church and Nicodemus Heights. We are now advancing to the Confederate center to launch our attack on the Confederate Sunken Road, as well as across the center bridge to attack the Confederate flank in their center, and we will finish the battle up in this video. So hope you guys enjoyed the first part. Hope you enjoy the second part. This is part 23, I believe, of our Union campaign Let's Play. So remember, we are fighting through the entire Union campaign, and thus far we have known nothing but success, but we'll see if that continues here at America's bloodiest day, the Battle of Antietam. Thanks again for watching, guys. Sit back, relax, and enjoy, and let me know your thoughts below. The Irish Brigade this way as well. Pennant early out. Let's move some artillery over here to support the attack. Garfield will come in here to kind of protect the flank. There will be Confederate reserves which come up this direction. Didn't mean for our cavalry to get in a melee fight with the Texas Brigade. Alright, Greg, you're gonna... Parker, you'll advance on the Louisiana Tigers, or what's left of them. Greg, you'll advance over here. You can see here, McRae... Oh, the Irish Brigade's flanked. Rhodes is getting hit here by 2 brigades. He's in a little bit of a tricky spot. Our reserves are starting to cross the river here. Take out that brigade of cavalry. Come on, give them a good volley. There you go. Now they're dead. Alright, that entire brigade of cavalry, which was kind of riding around and annoying us, is gone. We don't have to worry about them anymore. Law's division is coming up. And we've got some reserves coming in the north here. This is the weakest corps we have that's starting to come onto the field here, way far in the north. Okay. So we are threatening their center. They're doing a little bit better than I was hoping. Garfield, you'll protect Greg's flank. Harris, you're going to go up the middle. We'll bring our supply over here to the center. We're burning through it pretty darn quick. Not that big of a surprise. Alright, so we broke roads. We've started to unhinge the Confederate line here in the Sunken Road, just as some reserves are starting to come up. So we're going to shift Greg to face left a little bit. Meanwhile, over here, you can see our troops are starting to come up. But we'll kind of advance these guys up toward the Sunken Road. This Ridgeway here, get some artillery on this good old high ground. Some supply and Gibbon over here. Alright, so we've got these other troops coming here in the north, so now we're going to go ahead and select them all. They've got a long march south, so we'll just kind of click them over in this general direction, and they'll arrive when they arrive. Alright, 3 hours left for us to take the Sunken Lane, which we're going to. Alright, Barksdale's charging Greg, but he's exposing his own flank to Garfield. And that attack didn't last long. Alright, so overall, we are unhinging the Confederate position here. They're being forced to withdraw because of the threat to both flanks. They're basically being double enveloped here. We'll go ahead and support our flank. I imagine they're going to launch some sort of counterattack over here. Let's get these guys running into position here. I don't want to exhaust them too much, but... Irish Brigade, go deal with Walker, Caldwell. The Iron Brigade, you guys move in here to take the position. Anderson's brigade is kind of in the rear of the objective. Alright, stop running. Okay, we can see here the largest Confederate attempt to counterattack here is kind of positioned in our center. Move this artillery over here to kind of try and deal with it a little bit. Greg is being pushed back. There are several very competent Confederate regiments here. We've pet it down. Move these Springfields down. And this way. Alright. We just killed Stewart, by the way. You saw an entire brigade fired a volley at General Stewart. Alright. You guys halt. Face this way. Okay, so we've secured the Sunken Road. Irish Brigade finished off Walker there, so no threat to our flank. Confederate counterattack is slowly being broken. Go harass them. These guys are in a house. They're going to be hard to beat with gunfire, so we'll try and melee them. I've already taken the church D3RP. We're advancing south. You can see here these troops are coming down slowly, surely. Bring Greg up here. He's withdrawn. We'll bring Crocker up. I don't want to leave too many troops in the rear here and waste them. Where's our supply wagon? Alright, let's go give these guys some supply. Alright, so Hector, Stark, Henry, Farr, Burnside. We're going to advance here. I don't attack, I want to advance. Iron Brigade as well. A general advance has been ordered all along the front. General Longstreet is spotted supervising. Defense is near the center. It's fine. He doesn't have enough manpower to do anything. And now we've got the attack on the far right. So the attack on the Sunken Bridge. We assume that General Hill's division, the light-footed division, will be coming up from Sharpsburg shortly. So we're just going to order what's left of our Second Corps to cross the bridge over here as we continue advancing the Confederates in the center and overwhelming them and enveloping their entire position. At least that's the goal. Okay. Crocker, Harris, everybody keep on moving on. Alright, Garfield's ammo wagon is now out. Ripley's brigade just evaporated. I will say the one thing is, like, playing as the Confederates when you play against the Union can get a little bit tiring in this battle, because it feels like it's just human wave attack after human wave attack. But at least the way I'm playing anyway, because of course I'm a military genius, it doesn't feel quite like that. So, for whatever that's worth, right, it doesn't feel quite as, I don't know if limiting is the right word, but is silly in terms of the way troops advance when you're playing on the offensive as when you're defending against the offensive. Okay, so we're advancing a little bit. Do you want to unload a whole volley on Longstreet? Some of my brigades seem like they want to. Moving our supply wagon over here to give some guys a little bit more ammo. I've got my soldiers at the bridge. They're advancing. So we'll go ahead and get them into position a little bit further off the bridge. We'll get some support up here. Burnside should come over to help Hector. His flank's a little bit exposed. Gibbon, get up there. Alright, so our reserves from the north are finally coming into play. As we've kind of got our ammo wagon here going behind our lines. Trying to prevent the lines from being overlapped by their own troops can be rather difficult. It's an interesting challenge. You think about as the attack progresses in any game like this, it becomes increasingly difficult to keep troops organized and in proper alignment, and you really understand the challenge that a commander during the Civil War went through. Especially, you kind of understand why like Jackson and Longstreet were both wounded by their own troops, because they kind of got tangled in between their lines, and then, you know, the light going down and making things more difficult to see because it's kind of dusk makes, you know, you sort of understand it a little bit more. Very aggressive Confederates here on the southern part of the map. All right. So you can see actually a rather sizable Confederate force here is still sticking around in the south. I assume this is AP Hill's, supposed to be AP Hill's division, which came up late in the day during the Battle of Antietam as reserves. Our last real objective that we need to take is the town of Sharpsburg itself. How did those Springfields get all the way out there exposed by themselves? So we just need to kind of keep advancing this blob. We've got about 3 more hours, so we've got time. Keep advancing this blob of troops on the Confederate positions. Bring some of this artillery up. I'm not doing a good job of making sure some of my troops aren't left behind. Okay, more and more Confederate brigades are being obliterated there. Okay. Yeah, I can only imagine things get worse in terms of managing your forces as the game goes on and the armies get bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't really care about these guys here in the south, to be honest, as long as they don't drive back and tank the Sunken road. That's really all I care about. Alright. Who just surrendered? Evans surrendered. Get him out of there. By the way, surrendered troops can unsurrender if they kind of get recaptured by their own side. So you want to always make sure to move them to the rear and don't let the enemy get in there and... Wow, an enemy brigade with over 1,000 troops. The first one I've seen in a while. It's Manning's brigade. And holy crap, Burnside is kind of exposed over here. This flank is in danger here. Let's shift these guys over. We'll run them up. We'll exhaust them, but at least we'll stabilize that flank relatively quickly. Some of my troops have been barely engaged. I haven't actually gotten all the way through the campaign before. I played the Confederate campaign all the way through, but that was before the game was finished. So the game just came out recently, and I haven't played it all the way through since. This is my first attempt to play it since it's actually been completed. We're obviously into Antietam, but we've still got a ways to go. Alright, so we've taken Sharpsburg. That should be a victory. You've just got to hang on for a little bit over an hour, getting some of these guys further south. Kind of ignoring my troops over here. The only Troops of mine still in a reasonable fight here are the guys in the south. The Confederates, I'm not really worried about them shifting reserves north because we have such an overwhelming force up there. But theoretically they could do it. You can see here that I don't know why they're sending troops south. Unless they just recognize they have no chance. Now it's kind of like a resource management exercise almost. Just because you don't want to lose casualties, because anyone we lose here we've got to replace in the follow-on battles, so we don't want to lose anyone at this point. Alright. Yeah, the minor battles are more fun from a tactical perspective. You've got a lot more freedom. So I would definitely agree with you there. It's a lot of fun to kind of operate at a tactical level in the minor battles. These big battles just quickly turn into a shit show. I suppose I could pause it and be really intricate and issue my orders that way, but you know, I don't feel the need to do that. Maybe if I was losing. Charge! Everybody charge! Let's melee and get these guys to surrender. There you go. Powers Brigade just got destroyed by that turning volley by Iverson. Shit, Confederates have quite a few guys over here still. A little bit of a threat. We've got 25 minutes left. Not to any victory or anything like that, that's for sure. There you go. Anderson surrendered. Didn't even have to fire his volley, did Stark. Now I can fire at that artillery brigade and destroy it. I suppose I could keep fighting even after the battle ends and mop up what's left of the Confederates. The only real advantage is we'd capture some additional equipment, but we'd also take casualties, which, frankly, casualties are more of a negative than inflicting them on the enemy. It's not like it influences, other than the fact that you win the battle, you don't really, there's no carryover casualties for the Confederates, so there's not really a whole lot of reason to keep fighting once this is done. Alright, look at that Bass. One casualty. Oh wow, they're flanking me down here. That's weird. They were totally overwhelming Ector. Oh shoot. Posey, get away from them. Total overwhelming Ector. He's retreating. And yet one of their brigades surrenders. Guess their morale just took too much of a hit. Not that, again, not that it matters. Because it doesn't. Master, you hate that Confederate destroyed units are still able to return? Because I don't think Union, like if you lose your own troops destroyed, I don't think they return. 6 minutes. We're just gonna fast forward through this. Alright. So casualties, casualties, casualties. Alright, so there you go, victory. Our 3 corps versus, what, 4 Confederate corps? Confederates had 32,000 infantry, 800 cavalry, 93 guns. They ended up losing more than half their infantry. They lost 18,000 troops. They lost 47 guns, so more than half their guns, more than half their infantry, more than half their cavalry are all casualties, in addition to over 2,000 soldiers missing. We lost 36 men, 2 guns, 7,200 soldiers, so they lost well over double ours. If we look at our goals, major victory obviously. We obtained every single objective for draw and victory. If we look at units, all the most effective units were in the Union Army, I believe. You just look at casualties. Look at this. Everything in like the top 20 are Union. One Confederate artillery battery is kind of sort of up there, but everything else is way down here. All the Confederate Army way down here, as well as our own troops like Sleflin's Brigade didn't even shoot anyone. They didn't even engage. Neither did Beale. If we look at officers, you can see here John Iverson promoted from lieutenant colonel to colonel. Sean Hines and Edgar Stark both wounded but not killed, so that's good. Colonels Gregg, Major Crocker, and Colonel Caldwell all promoted. Patrick Caldwell also promoted. Ken Brett promoted. Several new brigadier generals, Mark Harris, Sidney Crocker, and Duncan Foreman, as well as Bill Lynch. And William Sherman, Brigadier General, is wounded. So we had three officers wounded, one of the general level, no one killed, so that's awesome. If we look at goods, if we look at rescued, I suppose, you can see here we lost 7,000 casualties, which means we need to replace all of those guys' guns. We rescued a fair number of our own guns. More than 3,000 of our weapons were recovered. But in addition to that, we also captured quite a few enemy weapons. More than 2,000 M&J Type 2s, 1,200 Mississippi 1841s, 300 Reboard Farmers, 300 1842 Springfields, 246 Palmettos, a couple of sawed-off shotguns. We captured more than 12 enemy field pieces of artillery, and we lost 4 guns and rescued one of our own. So we ended up with more guns captured and recovered than we actually lost in the battle. All told, immense success in the Battle of Antietam, decisive Union victory. And if we go in here, we also were awarded the Iron Brigade. So interestingly enough, we lost a brigade we called the Iron Brigade killed, but we are rewarded the Iron Brigade for winning the battle. In addition to that, we get 1,000 additional recruits based on the number of enemy prisoners we have. So we get 17,000 recruits plus 1,000 for like prisoner exchange, I assume. So we'll have 18,000 soldiers to replace the 7,500 we lost. That means we can increase the total size of our force by about 11,000. We also get almost $500,000 to buy new arms and weapons. Our reputation goes up by 25. Our career points go up by 2. There you go. So you can see here we're going to have to replace some of our casualties from our previous battle. We've also now got a second John Gibbon. We've got Major General John Gibbon in command of the Iron Brigade, and we've got Major General John Gibbon in command of the 2nd Corps. So I don't know if he's doing double duty or whatever, but apparently there's a clone. William Sherman, who was commanding the 1st Division, was wounded, so we'll probably replace him with our newly acquired John Gibbon, unless we've got another Major General in here, which it doesn't look like we do. Our reputation of 96 is astounding. You can see our 14 morale boost, so our soldiers' morale is just maxed out in many of these cases. Just really high morale because of that perk. And we've also got some career points we've got to assign with this additional victory, but we'll probably wait to do that in the next video. I'm going to go ahead and save here. Let's go ahead and save that battle. And there you go. Yeah, all told, a very successful fight. Only 2 officers in the 2nd Corps that we need to replace. Actually, you know what? We're just going to replace these guys with rookies. You can see here the casualties were so low that going with rookie replacements, we barely hurt their statistics. So as a refresher here, you can see when you have units, you can see their efficiency, their morale, all of that, all these kind of statistics. And when you give them replacements, they do lose some of those traits, but the fewer replacements you have to give them, the fewer the the loss, the less the loss of experience, etc. So the more casualties a unit suffers, the more valuable veterans are. We'll have to replace some commanders here. But in general, you know, if you've only lost a 200, 300, or even 500, in my opinion, it's not worth using veteran replacements, because if we were to use veterans here, for example, switch over to veterans, and we wanted to do 500, that's almost 10 grand. That I just don't think it's worth it in this case. You know, there's not a huge hit. In a few cases, maybe like the Springfield, you know, these guys, you can see they lose quite a bit. If we kept them at veterans, they'd keep all that. But again, it'd be 30,000 just to do that. So we'll see. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. 2nd Corps is all built back up. 3rd Corps barely lost. This unit lost 1. These 2 brigades lost 1 man.
Yes, sir.
Wow. This corps is in good shape, but we can build out Leonard's brigade and Walker's brigade to full strength. These guys were much lower, not because they took casualties, but more because they just were under strength at the start of the battle here. So actually we're leaving them stronger now as a result of that than they were at the start of the fight. First corps, I guess we'll do that. Lynch's brigade barely lost anyone, so we'll do rookies for, I think, the entire 3rd Division. They all lost under 300 men. So we'll go there. We'll just go with veteran or rookies across the board.
Yes, sir.
Now, some of these brigades lost a little bit heavier. These 2 brigades I don't think are experienced enough to warrant it.
Yes, sir.
Crocker didn't lose enough men to warrant it. Iron Brigade, the brigade we were gifted is incredible. Look at this. This is like a huge perk brigade. But if I wanted to do veterans, it would cost me $100,000. It's going to cost me $20,000 anyway. I'm just not going to... I'll just take what still ends up being a very good brigade. Oh, these guys all are losing command because their division commander's wounded. We'll keep these 2 brigades with veterans. We'll spend the $80,000 to replace them, keep them at tip-top shape. So there you go. We've rebuilt everything. We need to actually do artillery too. Artillery I will keep at veteran. I think the experience there is worth it. 16 guns. Let's see. 16 was our standard size. I think everybody is at full strength now. Yep. So all of our artillery is back to full strength. All of our infantry is back to full strength. That gives us 48,000 between the 1st and 2nd, 16,000 in the 3rd. So we've got more than... I can't do math. 48 plus 16. 64,000 infantry. Along with some over 120 guns. And also some units that need some, these guys gain some experience, so we can go ahead and assign sort of this additional perk to them, which gives them a little bit of a bonus because their commander earned a promotion. I'm not sure if anyone else... Yep, Iverson's troops need that as well. And Ector's brigade as well. Okay. That gives a bonus to their efficiency and morale as well. We've got a couple of brigade commanders to replace and 1 division commander. Overall, I think we're in good shape. If we take a look at our following battles here, you can see the next major battle is going to be the Battle of Fredericksburg, which will be a challenge because it's such a strong position that we're going to be attacking. But we've got 2 minor battles before it, the Battle of Iuka and the Battle of Perryville out west. So the Perryville was the Confederate invasion of Kentucky, and Iuka, did that come before or after? I'm not terribly familiar with the Battle of Iuka. I think it was sort of an example where, well, I'm not quite sure. I'll have to look into that one before we fight. But we're into the Winter 1862 campaign. So we've got 2 minor battles, and then we've got the major battle of Fredericksburg to fight. We've still got 8,000 soldiers. We can start assigning those to the 3rd Corps. But I think for now, I think that's gonna... Let's go ahead and save again. Still got over $200,000 we can kind of improve the existing troops or expand with new troops, kind of look at maybe upgrading weapons. I probably should have spent my career points before I upgraded my forces, depending on what I choose to use it for, but I didn't. Rookie mistake. Anyway, guys, I think that's going to be it for this particular video. I hope you enjoyed the Battle of Antietam. It was a successful battle. We won a big victory, and until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.